Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with Toronto-based trombonist, composer, and educator Karl Silveira. We had a good conversation about his life and music, his newest 2022 CD, A Porta Aperta. The album was recorded over the course of 2 intensely focused days in July of 2021. Karl completed a Master's of Music in Jazz Performance and Composition from the University of Toronto in 2019 and has gone on to great things. Enjoy his story.
Good. How you doing, Joe? Thanks for having me.
Hey, I'm good. Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, thanks for taking a minute out for the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
So let's go ahead and before we kind of get into the new album, I want to know, we're on the tail end of COVID. There's opportunities coming up to play live and to promote material. So with the new album, talk to me a little bit about what it means to release it at this particular time.
I mean, it means a lot. I mean, it is a COVID album. We recorded it during kind of the peak of it. We were kind of like in that one of those transitional points of lockdown, not lockdown things happening here in Canada, and yeah, so no one was playing music at the time when we recorded. We all worked on the music for months and then just jumped in the studio, never had a gig in forever, and that was wild. So it's amazing that that this album that was produced from those times is now turning into something these days, now that music is opening up again. So it's really meaningful. It's really exciting. It's a real blessing to really have all this.
With this particular album, talk to me a little bit about what you're hoping the listener gets out of it.
Yeah, I mean, so I love the jazz tradition. I love earlier jazz. I like the more contemporary stuff. I mean, all that stuff really influences the way I think about writing this music. I really wanted to explore both those sides of myself, So the album comprises kind of divided right down the middle with more contemporary music to start and then more recognizable jazz tradition for the second half. And I just really like the idea that even though these tunes are, different from each other, they come from different periods in a way, they both are me in a way. And that's kind of a concept that kind of pervades the whole album. Even the title, A Porta Aperta is, it's meant to be read in Latin, but it can also be read in Portuguese, my native language. And it can mean two things. In Latin, it can mean the open door, but in Portuguese, it can mean the door that squeezes. And complete contradictions in a way. But I feel like those are both accurate expressions of the title, and I feel like that's the case, you can be many different things at once, multiplicity, right? And that's something I want to deal with in the album and try to express. So a lot of those songs are kind of investigate that sort of feeling, that multiplicity feeling with more ambiguous kind of sounds and textures and that kind of thing. But also, having the contrast of the other side of it, something that's more swinging, more straight ahead, more recognizable. So yeah, I just really love that idea that people can be many things at once. Things can be many things at once, and I just wanted to explore that with the writing.
Well, and I guess that might be kind of a theme of COVID. We all had to diversify and turn into certain things that maybe we didn't expect before this happened. And I'm curious with you, what did you learn about yourself over this time of having more time with yourself and self-reflection, things that you didn't realize about yourself that are going to make you stronger as you get out and promote this new album?
I think for everyone, COVID was a period of reassessment, of personal reassessment, everyone's kind of assessing what they feel is valuable, and really asking, those deep questions because you have the time to. And I think it was the same for me. I think I really thought about what I want in music, what I really want to create, and what is it that I truly care about. And I think that's affected the way I write and a lot of things. But I think honestly, the biggest thing I take away is just to be grateful. Honestly, that's been it. I've felt so grateful to be able to play music, and its absence has reminded me of that more than anything. Just how lucky I am to, be able to make music as a career. Yeah, just what a great opportunity that is. My parents are both Portuguese immigrants, so it's a tough thing, to sell, like, oh yeah, your kid wants to be a jazz musician, It's not super exciting, but no, not a thrilling thing for a parent to hear. But it's amazing that I can do that here, I can make a life for myself doing that, and I think COVID just reminded me of that. It's like, yeah, it can be taken away, but you know what? The fact that I even had it to begin with is just amazing. So yeah, that's kind of the big thing. It's just being grateful.
So your inspirations go from Mark Turner, Wayne Shorter, Lenny Tristano, and in between. And I'm curious, what was the first live jazz show that you ever saw that really blew you away?
Actually, it's funny you say that. I think the biggest one I saw was Wayne Shorter. Yeah, he came to Toronto at Massey Hall. Brad Meldau opened up for him on solo piano. And it's weird because I didn't understand the music at the time. I was still very young. But I felt like I understood the significance of it. You know what I mean? Like I knew there was something special happening. I didn't know what it was, but I knew it was special. I think that spirit really stuck to me in a way. So yeah, I do think about that show, and that was very moving for me. And as I get older, I feel like I look back at that time and think like, yeah, that was very significant, wasn't it? And so yeah, it's a thing. I feel like sometimes, in the moment when show is like powerful to you, and then sometimes you think back and think like, no, that actually was a big show, So I'd say that was the biggest one I can remember as really speaking to me.
So why the trombone? Why was it that instrument that really swayed you?
I mean, it wasn't my choice at first, if I'm being honest. I wanted to go to this high school that my friends were going to. It was an arts high school. And I played clarinet in band class in grade 7 and 8. I auditioned for the high school, and they were like, we have enough clarinet players. Do you want to play something else? And so they gave me an option. So I just cited all the cool instruments, like trumpet, saxophone, drums, guitar, just like all the cool stuff. And she was just like, oh, we have trombone. And I was like, okay. So they gave me 3 months to take lessons and re-audition, and I got in. And I didn't choose the instrument at first, but then as time went on, I just kind of really loved it. And honestly, as when I started playing as a jazz musician, I don't think I initially saw a big voice for it, but then as I got older and kept on digging deep, I started to hear a bigger voice in it. And now I love the instrument, So yeah, that's the thing. You don't always love everything the first time you see it, Some things you develop love later,
So talk to me a little bit about what you look forward to the most being a professional musician and even an educator. What is it that motivates you every day to do what you do?
I really want to serve the music and serve the tradition in whatever capacity I can. As a musician and composer, if I would love to, contribute to this musical conversation that started 100 years ago in some capacity, and try to do so in a meaningful way. And, as an educator, I want to try to connect with students and also help them discover their own voices within themselves, encourage them and help them grow to become, who they want to be. I think it's very, very difficult and very daunting to be an artist. There's no hard set paths or any track you can follow that will get you to an outcome. There's as many paths in music as there are musicians. And I think it's very tough for students to just kind of be like thrown out and it's like, okay, here you are exploring your passion, now what? And so, yeah, I feel really lucky that I get the chance to help them in any capacity, both to, develop a sound on the horn, but also even just try to figure out what it is that they want, so that they know they can find that path that they want to commit to. So yeah, it's just great to I don't know. I'm just really happy to be making this music and to be able to give back to the community in some way.
So why do you love jazz?
I mean, I think it's cool. I guess that's the main one. Like, I mean, if I'm being honest, like, I think I loved improvising before I loved jazz. Like, the first time I was with a buddy and we were playing and we were just making stuff up. Like, that was a big, light bulb on top of my head moment. It was, like, that was huge. Just thinking that you can spontaneously compose, just a totally intuitively powered process, where you're just inventing music. That just blew my mind. That's the coolest thing I ever heard. And so, when I was young, I was thinking like, yeah, jazz seems to be the most sophisticated expression of that way of making music. And I thought, okay, that's what I want to do. And then, I got deeper and deeper into jazz as time went on. But improvising that's a really special thing to me, for sure.
So speaking of special, when we do get back and we're able to present this music in a live environment, what are you hoping everyone, musician and audience, realizes about the power of live music that we've basically been away from for about 2 years now?
Like, I think the beautiful thing about live music is that it connects us to ourselves a little bit. I think it's an abstract way of connecting with the subconscious, even music that doesn't have words, it can still make you feel something. And that's a tremendous power. And to be able to be in the room live while doing it, like, that just increases its potency. I think live music is tremendously, tremendously important. And there's nothing quite the same as just being in the room with someone who's just creating. And I think it's very meaningful, and I think it feeds the soul.
So everyone has a perception or an idea of who they think you are, your family, your friends, your fans, your students, but ultimately you live your life. Who do you think you are?
Ooh, tough questions, man. I mean, I don't know. I think I like to think of myself as an explorer, I suppose. Explore ideas, explore music, explore people, explore experience. Yeah, and just try to find the meaning in all of it where I can find it, in a way. That's what I am.
I like it, man. Karl, thank you for opening up about the album, about your life and music. Good luck with everything as we move forward.
Oh, thanks so much, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Great talking with you.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview. We give you a bit of insight into the finest players and educators in Toronto, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. Thanks to Karl for his time, energy, and cool. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.